Amy, how are you? What are you doing right now? Hurry up and answer my messages. I know you're not busy. I bet you're just lying around doing nothing.
Helen, hi. I'm fine. Hope you're well too. I'm sorry that I couldn't get to the phone quicker. I was driving. I need to prepare dinner when I get home, so I'm just out and doing grocery shopping.
What about your son? Is he with you?
Your parents were kind enough to offer to watch him. They're at home right now. Will loves his grandparents, so it's good for them to have some quality time together.
Oh, I knew it. Don't give me that excuse. You don't think it's quality time for them. You're just being lazy.
I don't understand what you're trying to say.
You're making my mom take care of your son, aren't you? Because you can't be bothered to take care of him yourself, right? I bet you just moved in with my parents because you knew they'd offer to watch him and wanted to take advantage of their kindness.
That wasn't the reason why we decided to move into your parents' house, but it's true that they've been really supportive. It's thanks to them that I can go on my part-time job without worrying about Will. I'm really grateful for their help.
Good for you. You've only got one kid, but you've got all the help you can get. You can leave him with your husband's parents and do whatever you like. Usually, people only ask grandparents for help when they really need it, considering their age. But you think you can use them as much as you like because you're so important. How arrogant can you get?
I don't know where you got that idea, but that's not true. I'm not doing whatever I like, and I'm only relying on them because your brother has to go on long-term business trips for work. David's the one who first suggested we move in with your parents because he's away so much. I'm doing as many of the chores as I can when I'm at home, and of course I wish I could be at home all the time so I don't have to ask them to watch Will. But I don't want to be completely reliant on them for money either, so I want to earn some money so that I can cover some of the bills myself.
Oh, come on. You're not as good a liar as you think you are, Amy. I know that you don't actually think any of that. You just want a part-time job so that my parents will think that you're working hard. You just want to take advantage of them.
I can't believe that you'd think I was just using them. I really am just doing what I think is right.
I have 3 children, you know, and they want to see their grandparents too. But because you're living with my parents, I can't visit. Do you know how long it's been since they last all saw each other? My parents haven't even met my youngest. Do you understand? It's all your fault. You're getting in the way of my children's quality time with my parents. You're splitting up a family because you can't be bothered to take care of one kid.
I think it's amazing that you're able to take care of 3 children. I don't know how you do it without the help. You could come visit whenever you like, but the reason why you can't come and stay is because your second son is allergic to your parents' dog, isn't he?
That's not the problem. Were you even listening to me? Why do you always have to interrupt me with the most irrelevant comments? Anyway, back to the conversation. I'm going to move in with my parents. I want you out. Right now.
Excuse me? I'm sorry, this is all so sudden. I can't keep up. What are you talking about? Why do I have to move out?
What's so hard to understand? I'm telling you to leave. Is it so bad for me to want to live with my own parents?
I'm not saying it's bad, I just don't understand. You're saying that you want to move in with your parents and live with them in the same house?
Of course, that's what I mean. What else could move in mean? Are you an idiot? Why do I have to explain such a simple sentence? I'm moving in. Capiche?
I'm sorry, I was just surprised. Do you mean that you'll be moving in with your family? Your kids too? What will you do about Ricky's dog allergy?
That's right. Do you really think I'd leave my children behind? You don't have to worry about that. I'll get my parents to give the dog away. It's as simple as that. My children are more important.
But your parents love their dog. I think they'd be really sad to part ways. Does your husband agree with all of this? Won't it be tougher for him to get to work if he lives farther away from his office?
My husband will be fine. It's none of your business, but he won't be living with us. He'll be living by himself.
Okay. Do you mean that he'll be going away on business like David?
Like I said, it got nothing to do with you. You really are so nosy. Why can't you just shut up and accept what I've decided?
You're right. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have asked. My curiosity got the better of me. But if you're going to move in, then have you already spoken to your parents? I haven't heard anything from them about any of this, so I was wondering if it might have slipped their minds to mention it. Or maybe you hadn't spoken to them about it yet.
I'll tell them when I feel like it. It's not like they need a warning or anything. They're my parents, not yours. They'll be delighted to hear that I'm coming home. And I'm the eldest daughter. It's my job to take care of my parents. They'll feel much more at ease with me taking care of them rather than a complete stranger. That way they can see their favorite grandchildren too. So I'm asking you to leave. You're just in the way.
I'm sorry, what? You haven't told them anything?
I don't have to. All I have to do is make sure you and your stuff are out of my parents' house so that I can move in. We can't all live in there together. It'll be too cramped. I'm their daughter and have 3 children, so I take precedence. You may have married my brother, but that doesn't make you more important than me. I move in, and you and your son move out. Simple as that.
Even if you say that, it's not something that can be done straight away or even in a few days. If that's what you were planning, then you should have mentioned something or given me a warning or at least asked for your family's opinion. Have you spoken to David?
Of course I haven't. Don't you know where your own husband is? He's on the other side of the world. How am I supposed to get in touch with him without losing sleep? Do you really want me to bother him with something so trivial while he's working? And you call yourself his wife. Why can't you just accept what I've told you to do? You can tell David when he gets home from his business trip.
I understand that you don't want to bother him, but if you haven't spoken to David or your own parents, how did you decide all of this? You can't just decide by yourself. That's way too self-centered.
Of course I decided by myself. My mom and dad have no reason to say no to me. They love me the most. I may be an adult, but I still have them wrapped around my little finger. If they hear that they'll get to live with me and their grandchildren, they'll be overjoyed. That's why I should be the one living with them, not you. Do you understand, or was that too difficult for you as well?
That might be true, but you can't honestly think that you can just decide that behind all of our backs.
You may not realize it, but you're causing a lot of trouble for my mom by making her take care of your son. He's only turned 1 recently, right? Do you know how hard it is for someone my mom's age to watch a kid that young? I can't just stand by and watch as you take advantage of my mom.
You're right. I've caused her a lot of trouble, and I'm really grateful for all the time she's dealt with Will's tantrums and hyperactiveness while I've been at work. But you can't decide this without her opinion. Besides, your youngest is still only 6 months old, isn't she? I think that would be more of a burden.
Oh, shut up. You think you're better than me, but you're not. Unlike someone, I actually stay at home and take care of my own kids, rather than go out to work and waste my time. I won't ask my mom to babysit. I take pride in taking care of my kids myself.
Neither one of us is better than the other. I respect you for being a stay-at-home mom with 3 kids. I happen to go out to work a part-time job, but why does that mean that I'm wasting my time? We're each doing what we think we should do in our own situations. Isn't that enough? Either way, I can't up and leave so easily.
Why not?
Because where am I supposed to go? How am I supposed to move all of mine and David's stuff without any help from David? Maybe I could move out after David comes back, but I can't find a place at such short notice, and I can't accept a decision you made without consulting any of us.
You can leave David's things. He's family, after all. We'll store his things carefully until he comes back. You just have to take your stuff, your son, and get out.
You're being unreasonable. Why do I have to move out right now?
Because I can't forgive people like you who try and take advantage of my parents' kindness. Just because they offer to babysit doesn't mean you can use them like they're a daycare service. I never liked you, even before you married David, but I thought I should respect his choice of partner. Now I know that I should have made more of an argument against you when I had the chance. That laid-back attitude of yours really pisses me off.
I'm sorry, our conversation wasn't going anywhere, so I asked if anyone knew why you'd suddenly start acting like this, and your husband told me what's been going on. I heard that you're going to get divorced. That's why you're so desperate to kick me out, isn't it?
What? What are you talking about? Why would you talk to my husband behind my back?
When I asked your mom, she told me that she hadn't heard anything about you planning to move in and confirmed that she hadn't agreed to anything like that. She didn't understand why you were being so aggressive towards me. She hadn't seen you in person for a while and was worried about you, so she called your husband to ask about you. He told her about the divorce and a lot of other things.
My mom did? Seriously? She called my husband? What else did she hear?
She found out that your husband went to stay with his parents until the divorce is over. He told us that he had asked you to move out as soon as possible because he can't keep on going to work from his parents' house, and because he doesn't want to see you anymore. That's why you suddenly decided that you wanted to move in with your parents, but didn't tell them anything because you wanted to avoid telling them why you're getting a divorce.
Yeah, so what? It's private. It's none of your business. I don't have to explain myself to you. All you have to do is hurry up and leave so that I can move in.
You want to move in because you have nowhere else to go. All that talk about not trusting me and not being able to forgive me for using your parents was all just an excuse to cover up your own mistakes. You don't even know what condition your parents are in.
What? What are you talking about? What do you mean my parents' condition? They're fine.
Your dad isn't as fine as you think. I'm the one that's currently taking care of him.
Huh? Taking care of him? Why are you acting like that's such a special thing? Of course you should be taking care of him. Don't be lazy.
It's a lot more serious than that. I mean that ever since he collapsed last year, he's needed more support doing day-to-day tasks. It seems like you were just satisfied that he was still alive, so you never came to see how he was doing. You don't know it, but he's been really frail. It's the main reason why David and I decided that we should move in with your parents, because it would be too difficult for your mom to take care of him by herself, and it would be easier on us if we were in the same house rather than going to visit several times a week.
I didn't know that he needed care. What? Does he need help going to the toilet? Why didn't you tell me that sooner?
I would have told you, but you never asked. You didn't seem to care about your parents' needs since you always only contacted them when you needed something, and whenever your mom calls, you always let it go to voicemail. You may not know this, but she always is so disappointed that she can never even hear your voice.
Sometimes I just can't get to the phone. What's so bad about that? Give me a break.
Like when? Like when you're having an affair, for example? I can imagine that it would be really awkward for you to answer the phone when you're busy with a guy that isn't your husband.
What? I'm not having an affair. Did my husband say that I was having an affair? Because he's lying.
You cheated and got pregnant, and when Haley was born, your youngest daughter's dad is the man you're having an affair with.
Of course not.
But that's the reason why you're getting divorced, right? He already told us that he filed for a fault divorce because he didn't want to have to suffer the whole separation period, which means that your husband already has evidence, like a DNA test. There's no point trying to pretend you didn't do anything wrong. Your mom didn't know, of course, and was apologizing to your husband. She didn't think that you were selfish enough to break up your own family, but that's exactly what you've done. Your husband was surprised that your parents didn't know anything, too.
Ugh, you're so annoying. But, just like you said, there's no point pretending it never happened if you know the truth. Will you lend me some money?
What? Where did that come from?
You got a part-time job, right? So you must have some money to spare. I need to borrow some. I can't pay off the damages to my husband by myself. Ugh, he demanded a lot, even though he knows I haven't been working since we married. Oh, and I'm planning to move into my parents' house at the end of the month, so I'll give you until then to get rid of your stuff. I'd be grateful if you prepared some money for me to borrow then, too.
What are you talking about? Do you really think I'll do anything for you now I know why you're asking for all of this? Plus, your mom is saying that she won't let you kick us out, especially since I'm clearly more willing to be your dad's caregiver. Maybe you should just find a job and rent your own apartment instead of assuming that everyone around you will clean up after you.
But I don't want to. Do you expect me to get a job in a supermarket or something? That's so embarrassing. And it'll be hard to find an apartment that's suitable for kids.
Your husband was saying that he would take custody of the children. He's already taken the older two with him to his parents, hasn't he? You might as well just let him take Haley too, since he's offering. He has the means to raise them, you don't. You need to do something about that first.
If I give up all my children, I won't be able to demand that he pay child support. I can't do anything without that. He makes a lot of money, so I can demand as much as I want.
Are you being serious? Is that the only reason why you want to take your kids back? Because you won't be able to receive child support without them? You want to use your children to get money. What kind of mother are you? Anyway, I've just spoken to David. He agrees with me that we shouldn't support you financially. You need to get a job and work for it yourself. If you really love your children, you'd understand that that's what's best for them too, now that you're divorced. Besides, we don't have money to spare. We're saving so that we can get my license as a caregiver. That way I can get benefits for taking care of your dad and I won't have to go to work. I can support him full time. I imagine that's impossible for you, so give up on moving in with your parents.
Then what am I supposed to do? I won't have anywhere to go.
Why don't you ask your paramour?
He has a family too. I can't ask him for money. Are you an idiot?
Clearly you're the idiot, since you've been asking me for money and more this entire conversation. Anyway, we're not going to support you at all. You've just got to sort things out yourself. If you really want to live with your parents and really do want to kick us out, you should consider that if you do that, you'll have to take care of your dad 24/7. He needs a lot of care and you'll need a lot of resolve.
Ugh, I can't do that.
Your mom was doing her best all by herself until we moved in, but it was becoming a strain on her, and that's why I've taken over most of the responsibilities. It's easier on her to take care of a 1-year-old that only weighs a few kilos rather than a grown man. So yeah, I don't think you can either. But you're the one that said the eldest daughter should take care of her own parents, remember?
Then you should just call a professional to do that.
Then can you provide the money for that service?
No, I can't, but...
Then stop being so irresponsible.
Oh, fine. I won't try and kick you out. So just lend me some money. That's all I ask. I'll pay you back, I swear. You can trust me. I need to pay my husband or he'll take all of my children from me. You understand, don't you? You're a mother too. How would you feel if you were about to lose your children? I can't give them up.
I don't understand at all. I don't understand the feelings of someone who prioritizes their affair over their own children. Your husband told us that you left your children unattended while you went out to meet with your lover. And you only want your children back because you want child support so you don't have to work. I don't want to understand how your brain works at all. If you won't take care of your dad or even try, and you don't have the money to pay for a professional, then you should try taking care of yourself first and get a job. Maybe if you show that you're willing to pay, your husband will let you pay installments instead. You'll learn more about being a decent human being if you learn that there are consequences to your actions.
What do I do about my children? What about the child support?
You're still going on about the child support? If that's all you can think of, then you've got a long way to go. And I suggest that if you care at all for your children, you'll let your husband take custody. They deserve that much at least. If someone as irresponsible as you raises them, I hate to imagine what kind of people they'll grow into. Anyways, do your best. Good luck with your job search. I hope you're happy. Helen finally gave up on trying to force Amy out of her parents' house, but she hadn't learned her lesson and called her mother to try and convince her to help her. Of course, her mother wasn't interested in hearing her excuses and only told her what Amy had been messaging her all this time. Helen was told that she couldn't depend on her parents to save her because she was a grown woman and needed to fix her own mess. Her mother even went so far as to tell her to never come home. It looks like Helen's own parents had gotten sick of her taking advantage of their love for her and warned her to never expect them to lend her money or run errands for her ever again. In the end, her 2 older children were taken by her husband, and she couldn't demand that he pay child support since her youngest daughter wasn't actually his. Her lover wouldn't acknowledge that Haley was his daughter either because he had a family, so nobody was obliged to pay child support. Haley was stuck with Helen as her mother, so Amy decided that she would sometimes visit them to see if Helen was actually working and doing her best to raise her daughter. Helen seems to have finally accepted her fate and is working day and night to pay her husband his settlement and to raise Haley.
Hey, just who do you think you are cutting in front of me like that, huh? You've really got some nerve, do you know that? I mean, who even are you anyways? The cleaning staff or something? Why the heck is some old hag like you even here in the first place, huh?
I'm sorry, but what is this all about? I don't even have your number saved in my phone. In fact, the one who should be asking questions around here is me. For instance, why in the world did you throw that plate right at my head?
I'm just glad that my aim was dead on. I was almost scared that it would go flying past you and hit someone else. But you can really only blame yourself for getting hit with that plate. I mean, I didn't have any other means of getting rid of you. And you still haven't answered my question about just what you think that you were doing here in the first place anyways. So why don't you go ahead and answer me first instead? I mean, seriously? You were holding a mop. Are you even invited to this thing? Are you part of the cleaning staff here? Or did you just try and break into this wedding and thought the mop would make a good disguise?
I will have you know that I am invited to this event and I am supposed to be here. I've done nothing wrong at all. So what I want to know is why you threw a plate at my head just because I walked past you. That was completely uncalled for.
Maybe next time you should watch where you were walking, and especially who you're walking around. You really had some nerve just walking in front of me as if I was a nobody. Don't you know who I am? I really wish that sometimes we all had to wear badges that showed how important we were, so that then losers like you would be forced to reckon with how useless you are compared to winners like me.
What in the world are you talking about? I'm serious. Is there something wrong with you? Should I call someone to come here and take care of you or something like that?
Oh, well, I am just so happy that you're thinking of my well-being. But I don't need anyone's help for anything. Thank you very much. But if anyone around here needs their head checked, then it is you for thinking that you could just walk in front of me and cross my path like that. Next time, remember your place and don't ever get in my way again. Do you understand me? I won't be asking twice, and the punishment for next time will be 2 times what I gave you.
You're just a guest at this wedding too, right? Judging by where you're seated, I'm going to guess that the groom is just your boss from work, right? So why in the world are you acting so uppity and self-important at a wedding that isn't even yours to begin with?
And just who do you think you are to be talking to me like that, huh? Haven't you realized that I'm the better person than you in all of this? Don't you realize you're fighting a losing battle? After all, you were holding a mop. I don't care if you were invited. You were clearly just brought over to clean up once everyone is done. Maybe next time I'll throw some wet rags at you so you can clean even better.
Honestly, what is the matter with you? So what if I was just a member of the cleaning staff here at the wedding venue? You still shouldn't treat people like this. But I think you've given me more than enough information to know exactly what kind of person you are.
And now you're trying to tell me that you're not just another member of the cleaning staff? I suppose it really doesn't matter what your job is here. Everyone here from the office is beneath my position anyways. But I guess that's what separates me from all the other rubes. I'm the only one here who realizes that in this world, it's eat or be eaten. Clearly everyone else is too busy being eaten to smarten up and live like me.
Right, yeah. You are exactly the kind of person that I think you are. And that is not a good thing, let me tell you that much.
Whatever. You just watch yourself next time. or else. Got it? Because you're already on thin ice being such a poor loser and showing up to a wedding like this. Anyways, I made quite the mess when I threw that plate at your head earlier while you were walking in front of me. So why don't you find a broom and clean it up?
Huh? You know that you're not going to get away with this, right? I'll make sure of that.
Oh, yeah? And just what are you going to do about it, huh?
Hey, Tina! Are you okay? Where'd you run off to?
I'm sorry, I'm in the changing room right now. I just needed to set myself straight after all that happened. And I think I also just need to sit down and catch my breath before I change my clothes.
Are you sure you're okay, though? I mean, I heard the sound of a plate breaking and people screaming, and I was really, really worried.
I really am okay. Thanks for asking, though. That was just all the doing of Rosalind. Can you believe that she threw a plate at me?
So that's what happened. But wait, why in the world would Rosalind do that to you? What was she trying to accomplish?
I think she was trying to hit me with a plate. And I think that she did accomplish it. I guess she thought that I was a member of the cleaning staff for her company or something like that. I didn't realize that I was crossing her path, though, and that's why she got upset and did what she did to me. But I'm just glad she didn't hit me somewhere where it could have been really dangerous.
Yeah, that's good at least. But still, I can't believe that she would do that to you. That's totally crazy. And I just feel so bad that I couldn't do anything to stop her at all.
Well, I think we should just be grateful that nobody else got hurt in that little stunt of hers. Maybe some people's suits and dresses got hit with food, but that's still better than suffering any kind of injury. And you really shouldn't be blaming yourself for any of this, you know? I mean, I also feel guilty for knowing that a girl like that works for the company.
I know. But now that I know what caused all the commotion, I think that she and I will have to have a little talk. I mean, I was really excited when we hired her on, but I had no idea that she was such a loose cannon. Here I thought we were really being able to count on her.
Well, I guess sometimes these kinds of people make it through the interview process, don't they? But anyways, she still seems to think that I'm just a member of the cleaning staff. She keeps ordering me to clean up messes around the venue.
What's the matter with her? Doesn't she realize that she's acting like a child in front of all her colleagues who are also at this wedding right now?
I just don't even know if she realizes that what she's doing is bad. I mean, I don't think she even has that level of self-awareness. But all that she is doing right now is just sabotaging herself in front of half the company she just got hired to work for.
You're right. And we can't let her get away with this, especially after she tried to target you for one of her attacks. I can't just sit back and do nothing about this. I mean, especially not when it's a big special day like this. We can't let her make it all about whatever she wants it to be.
I appreciate how worked up you're getting, Ivan, but I'm just grateful that I and no one else were injured in all of this. Maybe you should just take a breath and try to calm down before the wedding starts. Don't you think? Like you said, this is a big special day and we shouldn't let what some crazy lady does ruin it, right?
You might be right about that, Tina. But just, please be careful. I would hate for something else like this to happen today.
Well, I am sure that if Rosalind had any idea about who I really was, that she would feel really foolish about what she just did. I really can't believe that you actually did that. I mean, really? What is the matter with you? Literally, how did you even make this big of a mess in the time that I was away? I just don't get it. Don't you realize what a mess you're making here and what a bother you're being to everyone else here? Don't you have any shame at all?
The only one who should be ashamed here is you. Of not doing your job as the cleaning lady, that is. Now hurry up and start cleaning this place up right now. After all, it is why you were invited here, right? You're just here to be a cleaning lady and nothing else? Now chop chop, get sweeping.
You know, it really, really pains me to have to do this on a day like today, but you really are leaving me with no other choice through your behavior. I am not going to be cleaning anything. In fact, you made this mess, so you are going to clean it up right now.
Are you crazy? Have you seriously lost your mind or something? Just why in the world would I do your job for you? You're the cleaning lady, and I'm the real employee. So when I point to something and tell you to clean it, I don't want to hear any back talk. You need to shut up and do as I say. You are cleaning staff, and it is your job to clean. Do you understand me?
I really just don't even know how to deal with someone who thinks like you. I mean, why is all this cleaning falling to me anyways?
I thought I told you that I was getting tired of you talking back to me. I told you that your job was to listen to me when I say something needs to be cleaned, and then clean it. Don't you know that I'm a fast track to the top of this company? You're nobody compared to me, and it's high time you showed me some respect. You should be lucky that you still even have your job after all of this talking back to me that you have been doing. Now, if you want to earn a living in this world, you'll get your mop and start cleaning.
It sounds to me like you're really, really happy about getting your job at this company, aren't you?
And just who are you to make that kind of claim about me, huh? You don't know me. Just shut up and do your job already. I've never had to deal with help as rude as you.
You really are full of yourself, aren't you? But are you sure you know who you're really talking to right now?
You make that sound like a bad thing. Of course I'm self-confident when I'm dealing with little peon nobodies like you. You're literally no one. You have no idea what I've had to do to get to where I am. I graduated at the top of my class with amazing grades, and that's how I got my job at one of the largest companies in the whole country. Besides, I have plans for my section head. After all, he's not bad on the eyes, and I'm sure that if him and I got together, we could make sure that our careers went exactly the way that we wanted them to. After all, you know what they say, right? To get ahead in life, it's all about who you know.
But I just mean that you sound so confident that all those things are going to come true for you. Of course, it's important to have good grades and a strong resume, but you know that companies care about character as well, right?
Just why is a little worm like you talking to me about my character, huh? You don't know a single thing about me. Now, why aren't you on the floor with a rag cleaning up the mess that I have ordered you to clean up several times now?
I'm not cleaning because I've already told you that I won't be, and that you are going to clean up the mess that you made. Now, take responsibility for what you have done and start mopping.
You think that I'm going to clean up that mess? That's rich coming from a little cleaning lady like you. You must really be stupid or something. Besides, where's your proof that I made this mess, huh? Don't you realize just how lucky you are to even be here? The least you can do is clean up to show your gratitude. After all, the real reason you were invited was probably just to clean up after everything is done here.
Are you sure about that? You sure talk as if you know everything that's going on around here, don't you?
And just what's wrong with talking like that if I do know everything that is going on around here? Huh? You really need to learn who you're talking to. I mean, just what was the CEO of my company thinking, inviting a loser nobody like you to his wedding like this? Sometimes I just don't know what goes on in that head of his.
Well, I have a few hunches of how I might have ended up here. But the one that seems the most likely is that I'm here to marry my fiancé.
Wait, what? What is that supposed to mean? Is there a second wedding going on here or something like that?
No, nothing like that. It's just that your CEO who is getting married today had to be getting married to someone, right? Anyways, if I were you, I would really start getting to cleaning up that mess of yours before it's too late.
Whoa. I still don't get what it is that you were trying to tell me with all of that. I mean, is your head okay? Are you just living in some kind of dreamland or something like that?
I guess you really don't know as much as you think. I would ask some of the other guests if you don't believe me.
Oh, trust me, I will. I'll ask them if they can believe that a lowly nobody like you actually thinks that they are going to marry the CEO of my company. In fact, maybe I'll go up and ask the CEO himself, and then we can have a long laugh about how delusional you are.
Yeah, that's a really good idea, actually. Why don't you go ahead and do that then?
Hi there, boss. This is Rosalind. I just wanted to thank you again for inviting me to your amazing wedding. I really am so happy to be here. But I just had one little question for you. Who is it that you are going to be getting married to today? I don't think that I even know who your fiancé is.
What the heck are you doing messaging me right now, huh?
Boss, I said it was me, Rosalind. You know who I am. I'm only trying to ask about who it is that you are going to be marrying today since we are all here for your wedding. Because I was talking to this crazy cleaning lady from our office, and get this. She said that she was supposed to be the one marrying you today. I told her that she was crazy, and she told me to go and ask you.
Oh, I know exactly who you're talking about. And yes, she's gonna be my wife.
Wait, what? What do you mean by that?
I take it that wasn't the answer that you were looking for, right? But it's true. She's my wife, and I'm very proud to be marrying her.
But Oh, hold on a second. I don't understand. What's going on here? This doesn't make any sense at all.
What doesn't make sense to me is why you think that you can treat my bride the way you've been at her own wedding. Don't you have sense of shame about yourself at all?
But I mean, this still isn't adding up at all. So then, you're the CEO of a company and you're going to marry some cleaning lady?
And just what's so wrong about that? Do you have a problem with my choice of spouse or something?
No, of course not. There's nothing wrong with wanting to marry whoever you love, of course. But I guess what I'm really confused about is why you two are getting together in the first place.
You said so yourself, didn't you? Because of love. I don't think that I need to explain myself any more than that to you, do I?
Right, no, of course not. I mean, I'm sure that she's a really wonderful person, of course, but well, don't you think that you'd be better off marrying someone a little closer to your status?
You really are showing everyone just what kind of person you really are today, aren't you? But there's something you should know. I, as CEO of this company, think of all my workers in equal light. Though everybody may have different jobs, get different wages, and have different regulations, I want everybody in my office to be able to get along. Or at the very least, treat each other like equals.
Of course, I think it's totally reasonable as the head of a hierarchical structure to think that just wanting equality is enough to overcome material differences in livelihoods.
Well, of course it can. That's just how the world works. But what I want to know is why you had the nerve to throw that plate at my fiancé!
You mean that you heard about me doing that?
Just answer the question right now. Don't you know that you have to obey whatever your boss tells you to, even outside of work?
Well, the reason I threw the plate was because I had no other choice. I mean, that's not it. It's because my hand slipped. That's right, my hand slipped.
And that's really what you want to go with? You just want to say that your hand slipped and that's all that happened?
Yes. I mean, of course that's what happened. I was there, so I should know, right?
I see. Well, I think I know all I need to know in that case.
What do you mean by that? What do you mean that you know all you need to know in this case? What are you going to do? Tina, are you there? I just wanted to say that I am so sorry for what I did to you. I really had no idea that you and Ivan were engaged to be married. I had no idea that you were my boss's fiancé.
I really don't care at all about your apologies, Rosalind. But I want to know who is going to pay for all the damage that you caused.
The damage that I caused? What do you mean the damage that I caused? And what do you mean who is going to pay for it? I don't get what you're trying to say.
You mean you really think that breaking plates, wasting food, splattering people's clothes with bits of brunch are all just going to be swept under the rug? I don't think so. Especially not when it's clear that you've done no reflection on your actions at all.
But of course I reflected. I came to apologize to you for what I did because I didn't know who you were, did I?
Not only that, but you also stained the carpet of our wedding venue with the mess that you caused. And even though the carpet is probably the least expensive thing that you'll have to pay for, just know that you will be charged for that as well.
But then how much money am I looking at having to pay? And are you really going to make me pay for every little mess that happens at a wedding?
I would say you are probably looking at about $250,000 with all this. And that's only including all the messes that you made. Did you think that making a mess in a place like this was going to be cheap? Have you seen where we are right now? But you didn't care. You just wanted to live in your little fantasy world of hierarchy where you can treat people however you want.
Wait, please. I just hold on for a second. I mean, how do you even know how much all of this stuff costs? Why do you know how much it would cost to clean a carpet like this?
Well, that's because I own this venue. So I should know what everything costs.
Wait, what? What do you mean by that? I don't get what you're trying to tell me. What does that mean that you own this venue? That doesn't make any sense at all.
Well, let me break it down for you then. Before I owned this place, it belonged to my mother. Then when she died, I took over the family business of running this place. Of course, I have other jobs, but also have a staff under me who I can use to help me get the things I need done. Although I am just a bit of a clean freak, so I hope that you're not too surprised that I know just how much it costs to clean up messes.
So then when you were walking around earlier with a mop...
I know what you're thinking. Why on earth would a bride be mopping at her own wedding? Why would she be doing that when surely a place like this has a staff that would be able to handle messes in a second, right? And yet, after I went to this place with a mop, there wasn't a single square inch that wasn't sparkling.
Well, I guess now that you mention it, this place is pretty clean, actually.
That's right. But I also helped clean because I hate the idea of others doing something for me that I can do myself. It may be my wedding, but that doesn't mean that I'm some glass doll who can't function on her own. I wanted my staff to see that I mean it when I say they're all equals in my company. Besides, more than anything, I'm just a little bit of a perfectionist, and if things aren't done to my specifications, then I won't be happy. But I've learned that the best way to make sure that happens is just to do the work myself. But I suppose that someone like you has never thought about actually doing something for yourself, have you? It's clear that you expect people like those who work on the cleaning staff to clean up after your messes and take your abuse on top of that. You really are one of the worst kinds of people. Do you know that? You're what's wrong with the world.
You mean I'm what's wrong with the world because I look down on people? Are you kidding me?
You literally hurled a glass plate at me because you thought I was a cleaning staff member who walked in front of you. I really don't know what else to say except that you're a terrible person with a terrible worldview. I've met plenty of selfish people in my days, but you have got to be one of the worst.
Okay, I'm sorry, jeez. I'll pay whatever the damages are.
I know you will. That was never up for debate, Rosalind.
Of course. So what? Well, I was just hoping that you could tell Ivan that I thought about my actions, realized what I did was wrong, and agreed to pay for damages. If you could just tell him all of that.
I see what's going on here. You think that you're going to be fired for this, and so you want me to talk to your boss for you. Is that right?
Come on! I already said that I would pay for everything, didn't I?
Oh, and you will pay. Trust me. I am going to make sure of that. But who knows? Ivan really is a bit of a pushover. You might be fine.
You mean it? That's amazing. Thank you so much.
Sorry, you didn't let me finish. He might let you off the hook, but I won't as upper management of the same company that you work for. In fact, as head of HR, I have significant power in choosing who does, and doesn't, have a job here depending on their behavior. And I'm afraid that you've proven yourself to be a terrible employee. And for that reason, we have no choice but to fire you.
No, wait, hold on. You can't actually be serious about that, right? I mean, you're not really going to fire me after I already said that I was sorry and going to be paying for all the damages, are you?
Of course I'm going to fire you. It's clear that you haven't really thought at all about why what you did was wrong. And you were going to pay for what you did either way. You are never, ever going to get out of paying for the damage that you caused. And then when you have paid for everything, I'll fire you. It really is quite a simple process if I'm being honest.
But come on, don't you think that you're taking things just a little bit too far with all of that?
I really don't think that I've even started to take it nearly far enough for what you deserve. And you should know that I have significant pull in this town. Lots of people know me at all the companies that you might think to job hunt at. So I suppose that you might have some real trouble in the job market in the future?
You mean that you would really sabotage my whole career just over this? That's taking this whole thing way too far now.
Oh, don't worry. I'm sure you will be able to find another job in another field. But you are going to be put on a blacklist in this industry until the end of time.
You can't be serious about that. Please, you have to forgive me. Don't do this to me, I'm begging you. This can't be happening to me. I refuse to accept it. How did it all come to this?
Well, it all came to this. When a bride at her own wedding walks past one of the guests there and the guest decides to assault the bride with a plate. I think it's pretty clear to see who is in the wrong when you take a step back and look at it like that. Can't you?
But, I mean, please, you have to at least talk to my supervisor. He knows how hard I work for this company and how much I've given. Please, you have to talk to him at least once before you fire me. I know that he'll stick up for me.
And you really think whatever he has to say is going to trump all of the security footage of you throwing the plate at me and making a big mess all over the venue?
Oh, wait, what do you mean by that? You mean that there was a camera that was recording me the whole time when I threw the plate at you and when I made the mess after you left the room? Are you saying there's footage of me doing all of that?
That's right. And while I'm sure your supervisor might be at pains to see you go, the fact of the matter is that we can't be encouraging this kind of behavior among our employers. So I'm sorry, but I really don't see how anything you might be able to mention would ever change my mind about what I'm about to do.
I had no idea that a fancy place like this, dealing with hundreds of customers and guests day in and day out, would have security cameras installed. That's just... it's unthinkable.
And it all means that no matter what anyone says, there is always going to be that hard evidence against you. Now I don't want to ever see your face again. Do you understand me?
Wait, please, don't do this to me. This is taking things way too far. I mean, you're talking about ending my career. You can't do that.
Are you sure about that? You are more than welcome to try and stop me. But if you really think that that position is everything when it comes to working in this company, then you already know that you don't have a chance. After that, Rosalind tried asking her supervisor to step in and try to save her job. He put up a fight and begged me not to go through with my decision, citing all the hard work that Rosalind had put in since she started at the company. But when I showed her the footage from the wedding, he didn't have anything else to say. So, Rosalind was fired from her job. She ended up moving back in with her parents, and I hear that she was becoming something of a recluse now. Although I can't blame her, since after she was fired, she found out that I followed through on my promise to blacklist her from every company in our industry. And to think that she might have had a really great career waiting ahead of her. If only she didn't get a huge ego and think she could treat people however she wanted to. I hear that she ended up finding some part-time work at her parents' requests. Though I can hardly imagine with pride like hers lasting in a job like that long. As for Ivan and I, after we chased off Rosalind from our wedding, things finally calmed down and we were able to proceed with the ceremony without any further incident. In fact, after she was gone, Many of the guests came up to me and apologized to me for not doing anything about Rosalind before. I told them it was fine and that I understand just how scary a woman like that could be to approach. In the end, I was just happy that everyone was safe and that my marriage was able to happen without any further incident. Thank you for watching! If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to see more content like this.